The next presentation was actually held back from a previous conference because unfortunately the presenter couldn't make it last time. So very, very pleased to welcome Simon Mander, who's going to come and talk to us about how market conditions affect suppliers to our industry, to the corrugated industry. So a warm welcome for our friend. Thank you.
Let's hope this works. So for those who don't know me, I'm Simon Mander, the owner of Avanti Conveyors. We're an SME based in Derbyshire, 85 people, 15 million turnover, and we've been SPA members for over 3 decades. My father started the company in 1989, became a member of the SPA back then. The SPA have asked me today to talk to you about what innovation means for a machinery supplier to the corrugated industry. So Avanti are quite uniquely positioned in the UK. We're pretty much the only people making machines for the corrugated industry. The vast majority are based abroad. They're good. So hopefully I can give you a unique, not make this a sales point about our conveyors, because you all know they're great, but how we apply innovation to what we do. And innovation, like Ben, I am passionate about. So passionate, it's even in our marketing, but we do deliver on that. And mine's more driven by a bit of laziness. This is the only job I've done. I've done this for 35 years. The only interview I had was for a paper round. So after this length of time, you begin to see what innovation can be in our industry. My background was from an American company who were very much at the forefront of materials handling development for our industry back in '82. So when we undertake an innovation, the starting point for Avanti is through market research, apologies. Market research. So we try to understand, because we've got quite a long development time for our machinery, where the market will be for your customers. So we work in connection with Noah and Prison, Neil, looking at where the market changes are going to be, and trying to predict to a degree what will be asked of us in the future. And I'll show you our Pegasus palletizer later on, how we develop that. At the end of the day, we want to build products that answer our customers' needs. So no Employee of the Quarter award for that line, it's obvious, but we really want to make machinery that helps your converting machinery run at the badge speeds. So getting the OEE rates as fast as possible by taking out the bottlenecks through materials handling. But corrugated, in my 35 years, has been a very conservative industry. We've got a lot of barriers to innovation. Groups don't want to buy prototypes. Buyers don't want to pay for advantages over yours, machinery over others. We don't want to take risks. We want to make boxes, not let anybody down. IP protection is a lengthy and costly process, especially for an SME at our size. But however, as I said, we're going to innovate, and we still drive to innovate. So we really have 4 ways that we drive innovation. What we call continuous improvement leads to innovations. Necessity, and I'll show you how the market's affected our need to innovate very quickly. We do get some customer requests, and we work in cooperation to develop new products. And good old-fashioned desire to dramatically improve the performance through materials handling. So back to this OEE thing. So I'll go through each 4 of those steps on how we approach innovation. I refer to all of our products as Lego bricks. So we have a car Lego brick, a bi-die Lego brick, a pusher Lego brick, and we assemble those all into a system. And we'll look at the process of each of those Lego bricks and may find there's an issue with one in any of these 9 areas of engineering balance. So at the moment, manufacturability. We powder coat all our conveyors. That's become exceedingly costly with the increasing gas prices. So we're simply moving to a galvanized system, or all our conveyors are going to come in black, like Mr. Ford did. So process improvement like that actually generates innovations, and from those other innovations spin off. In that discussion, we were looking at our product line, and as you all hopefully know by now, the cost of generating compressed air is 7 to 8 times more than electricity. And it's very wasteful. So we've been in a process for the last 4 years of air-free by 23, which is to completely remove any compressed air need from our machinery. The Pegasus palletizer was air-free from start. and we'll be finished on about 80% of our product line by the end of this year. If you're not asking your suppliers the electrical costs of your machinery as you own it, you ought to be now. And hopefully they're also driving to take away air from their machinery. We also look at necessity-driven innovation. So to give you an idea from an equipment supplier's point of view where the market's been in the last 18 months, you'll have heard from everybody that anything with a chip in has been a nightmare to get hold of. We've had purchase orders to the main electrical suppliers that have had 2-year birthday cards sent to them. And the mechanical supply chain was difficult at times. The change has meant lots of OEMs have gone late, buildings aren't complete, inflation has hit us. So in the COVID demand, all the machinery suppliers received unprecedented amount of orders, pushing out delivery times. The lag between order and our ability to deliver has cost us more money, again, reducing our resources really to develop innovations. And staff have been a challenge. So on a simple form, that is a necessity-driven innovation. We have a servo motor that drives our centralized palletizer. We've had that device there for 25 years, and we couldn't get them, so we innovated a new variable frequency drive closed loop positioning system to remove it with parts that we could get available. But again, an innovation by necessity. Customer requests for innovations. So in partnership with Smurfit Kappa, we've developed a product called Insight. So we specialize in finished goods centralized palletizing systems. It's a very complex area with a lot of processes happening at once. A barcode reader, picking a pallet, applying straps, applying wraps, top boards, dressing to boxes, fork truck takeoff, and there's a lot happening in that area. And often shift managers would come in the morning and say, what happened last night? Conveyor system full. There wasn't enough detail in there, so Smurfit Kappa wanted us to innovate and look at giving them a morning report on exactly what's happening in the finished goods area, so they could concentrate their limited efforts. Maybe it was process, maybe it was engineering, maybe it was a development. And we're now rolling that out to most of the Smurfit Kappa sites in the UK. Another customer-driven partnership or innovation was Syker came to close the two existing sites in the Scotland, Edinburgh and Mulgai, and they had an opportunity to purchase an existing brownfield site and make that into a greenfield site, but it wasn't quite big enough to build a full, normal, conventional conveyor system. So we worked with a partner in Spain, found that we can use the Sky as it was free to store work in progress, and we've delivered the first ASRS system, automatic storage and retrieval system, for work in progress in the UK. Lastly, we have good old plain innovation. So as I said earlier, I'm a little bit frustrated about how conservative our industry is and how we don't develop. If you went to most of the materials handling suppliers today and said, I want a greenfield full plant site, they'd deliver something like this to you. Corrugator across the top, some whip, converting machines here, a main line and out the door. And yet at the same time, we've got OEEs on machines at 50%, quite often through the materials handling. Now this concept was August 1982 in boxboard containers. To put that in context, Thriller was at number 1, the Rubik's Cube was invented, inflation at 18%, and I was made to wear purple velvet shorts. So it's a long time ago and not something you want to see again. So innovation to avoid the purple shorts. Was Avanti looked at these bottlenecks through the materials handling, and we innovated a system called RCP, Remote Central Palletizing. So this isn't new to industry in general. If you've ever taken your family to Cadbury World in Bourneville, you'll see that they make stuff up top and deliver it to a central point at the bottom of the factory where they palletize. So we looked at a similar concept, and this was centered around idle time. When you walk into most factories, you'll find there's a machine stopped, a machine running an easy job, or a machine running a difficult job. And at any one point in time, there'll be some machinery idle in separating, layer forming, and palletizing. So it's really complex use of idle time. But to achieve this, Avanti needed a palletizer. So this is one of the spin-off innovations. We wanted to improve flow through the factory, increase OEE. We needed a palletizer to achieve our mission to Mars here. So we developed a palletizer. It's very nice when you come to a market from a fresh point of view. You look at the machinery out there and say what works, what doesn't work, what are the bottlenecks. And we went through the palletizing strapping line and worked away 3 inherent bottlenecks. So it's not a sales pitch today. I just want to show you what level of innovation we go through to reach the products we have today. And at the end of it, we've developed one of the world's fastest palletizer separator systems in order to achieve remote central palletizing. Part of that process, another spin-off innovation, was the software behind centralized palletizing and separating is very, very complex. So carefully avoiding any trademark infringement, we came up with the name Avanti, which is a digital twin of conveyors and palletizers. So this isn't just a pretty picture, this is actually an emulation. So the PLC code runs a digital model, and that allows us to trial the pattern formation before we go to site. Going forward, what this means is we can now give this tool to our customers, so you can pre-flight a job before you run it. You know what speed it's supposed to run at, and then if you want to change the configuration on the die, you can play around to find if the sweet spot here is more or less outs from the rotary die cutter. So innovation sparks innovation, sparks innovation. All to achieve RCP, which is our mission to Mars at the end. Where we'll go in the future? Well, we will continue to innovate, and we'll continue to enable converted machines to reach their badge speeds. That's all, thank you.